Remember page 182, okay? And think about the Gracie challenge and why it means nothing. Well, Macau Cow, which is where you get cuckoo, right? That's probably why she drove by me with that. And why a bunch of Japanese have been waiting there, because they know in the book on page 182, it makes it clear the Asian martial artists are inferior, and they chose grappling because they could not compete with our striking. Okay, think about a Chinese kung fu guy trying to take on a big capoeira who moves unpredictably, and he's faster, more agile, more in shape. Of course, would win. So what happened? The Chinese and the Japanese said, "Hey, let's try to grab these black guys and try to make their height work against them." But of course, they couldn't do it without weapons. So when you look at the Gracie challenge, right? What is it? It's a Greco-Roman obsolete challenge that Asians have co-signed because of a long history of their inability to match black people's percussive skills. For those of you who are skeptical, well, let's look at boxing. What Asian boxer matches Ali or Tyson? Remember, hand skills are far more important than feet skills, than kicks. Striking with the hands is far more important than striking with the feet, especially in sparring and stuff like that, right? Because you can kill with the hands a lot easier than you can kill with the feet, even without weapons. Do I really have to explain that to you? And most people, believe it or not, can strike harder with their hands than with their feet. And there's a reason for that. So when you look at this thing, right, with weapons, jiu-jitsu is an obsolete joke. It is a pitiful joke. And without weapons, it has historically been proven to be inferior. So what you're never going to see is, because the guy's from Brazil, he has an agreement with the capoeiras around there. You'll never see a capoeira accept that challenge and lay them out. You know why? Exactly. Because over the years, there's a lot of under-the-table agreements, and that's part of mainstream history too, that some capoeiras made agreements with other martial artists to downplay the effectiveness of capoeira. But we all know the whole reason, and it was medical school students. Go to page 182. Why did medical school students carry him away? Because they were friends with the capoeiras. Some of them were from the ghetto. And their argument was, from a medical perspective, not just an African perspective. Non-blacks and blacks alike agree that capoeira is a superior art because of the potential damage it can cause. Now, all those years later, when you see Fight Science, right, what happens? They downplay the percussive skills of the black man, right? And they say some white boy from Australia has the most powerful strike, and it was a kick, right? Now think about this. If that's the case, then why aren't these white boys dominating boxing using white taekwondo principles? Why was it Ali using African martial arts principles dominating boxing? Seeing himself as a black Muslim, super proud. You starting to get it yet? Grappling is not martial arts. It is derived from Greco-Roman wrestling, and it is twisted because of Nubian and African wrestling styles, which were completely for non-combat related stuff and only for combat training when it comes to picking up things like wounded comrades, okay? And that random, almost never happen event where you're on the ground. Remember, the Umba is about throwing someone to the ground, okay? You don't want to be on the ground to the point where the whole West African, the strongest guys in the world, the Cali muscle type niggas, right? Okay, on average. Obviously, there's a few white boys from Iceland that might be stronger than the strongest black guys. But when you look at average, most white guys are Scooby-Doo bitches and midgets, right? And we're the strong ones. So their steroids and special gyms don't change that when one or two of them excel, right? That means nothing. And even if they do, they're big, slow. They may as well be statues, because when they get that big, they're so slow that I could beat them with a razor in my teeth, and my hands and legs tied together, if you get my point. So, medical school students, my family is from the medical community. My family agrees. My dad's a brain surgeon. My mom's a doctor. When everyone says, "Oh, do you think your son's the best?" or "Do you think this person could beat your son?" they laugh. They're like, "Look, ask my mom. My son was doing flips at 3 or 4 years old, and when he did it at a mall on a fountain, every single kid his age that was hurt. Some of them had to go to the hospital. because they could not do what he did at 3 years old. My son beat everybody in Morgan Hill in 1997 when he was 16 years old, a gold belt. He's beat over 100 people. No one can even move as fast as him. They're not as smart as him. Show me a martial artist that talks the way he does. Even the most respected of them say things that are like kindergartners saying, I want some candy, compared to what Chukwu Emeka of the Igbos has said. Let's face it, African proverbs go way deeper than anything any Asian has ever said. Buddha, Gandhi, Confucius, anyone. Okay? What, we have awakened a sleeping dragon. Confucius says, wash your pants. You think that goes deeper than African proverbs? Are you a fucking idiot? Where do you think those piss ants got the idea? Dude, they are some hand-me-down bitches. That's why they're the same color as Johnny-come-latelys. Any fucking questions? Look, I'm half white, half black, part Jewish. Asian friends, I wear Asian clothes. Hispanics do my tattoos. My best friend is Malaysian, a Muslim. And another one is part native, part black. Okay, I have Filipino white friends going back to grade school, private school. Everyone knows that. Who knows me? I promise you what is going on is that they are jealous of our culture and the resulting superior beings. We built our temple in a way that gave us superior philosophy, superior proverbs, superior fighting arts, superior sciences. The whites had to sit there with the Asians super pissed, cheating people and snaking people. Like Kilate, rule number 1, never trust a snake, because we've been snaked by other races for a long, long time. And I'm not talking Mehen, the snake who was the friend of Set. I'm talking Apepian type of trash. Because we are superior, my challenge proves it. My dad's life story proves it. Do you really think a white guy with all the privileges in the world, with a secret society helping him pass medical school, deserves the same credit as a black guy who speaks English as a 6th language, who came here during a war without a penny in his pocket? Obviously, my dad makes every white brain surgeon look like a dumbass that had white people help him out. Do any of you doubt that? And I make every martial artist look like a cheating little bitch, because they are. And in order for you not to see the relevance of people like me and my father and my uncle who graduated top from UC Berkeley Law School and my brothers who are smarter than the people around them, in order for you not to see the relevance, what do you have to exactly? You have to adjust your scale to a serpent's scale. Scaly serpent dragon scale. You have to change your perspective, right? So as soon as you change your perspective and you see things the white way, all the inferior trash magically becomes superior. It's like a magic spell, right? Allies of my race relations teacher, who I'm not going to say who she is, are racist. They teach race relations from a white anti-Christian perspective, a white liberal perspective that pretends to take shots at white people and pretends to care about black people. Okay? They will say stupid shit like he thinks he's right, but he's not. Okay? And I'm the expert, and I don't have time to explain, but he's wrong, and I'm mad. Help me hack him and sabotage him. How many of you black people think that a white racist from a eugenic university like Stanford, David Starr Jordan, okay, or any token minority from there, can just tell the black community, hey, this guy has 10,000 sources, 20 years of studying, 7 years of videos, almost 8 now, 7 going on 8, and he's wrong. I'm not going to spend 5 minutes to put in a nutshell, what he might be wrong about, but just take my word, I'm the expert, he's wrong, just help me sabotage him. Is that good enough for you Christians? Is that good enough for you black people? Now, fuck them. What kind of bells did capoeiras ring? Where were the leopard and capoeira initiations held? They rang the church bell, and their initiations were in the church. In American history, the Christians are the good guys. The natives that helped the pagans and the fake Christians annihilate the capoeiras and the Christians and downplay that black Christian martial artists were the only revolutionaries, are the bad guys. Let's look at this thing. How many people were Geronimo or Prince Philip? Not many. Not many natives rebelled, okay? With the exception of maybe one group of Lakota. You know, the other rebellions were a few people. It was the capoeiras who consistently rebelled, okay, which made the white man want to put the black man in his quote-unquote place more, because everyone else was kissing the white man's ass, except for the black light temple that was initiated in the church. And this is why the KKK burned crosses and singled out blacks altogether, because they knew historically that blacks fight better. And we know that from boxing. Remember, there's 6 times more whites than blacks. They should be doing 6 times better instead of 6 times worse, you know. So they come together and they would look for anybody who thought like a capoeira. They didn't have to do martial arts, but they had to preach this passionate black Afro-Asiatic gospel. So in history, the Christians were the only good guys in American history. And it was the fake Christians who wanted to change the message from inside, the Masons and them, who did all the slaughtering. Do your research. It was people like the Franciscans who had concentration camps in Germany. It was factions of white churches who were pagan-loving, you know, Illuminati Weishaupt guys in some cases just white supremacists who are teamed up with white secret societies that work with Jews that the white supremacists hate in the name of preserving white culture effectively. To make a long story short, in American history, the only good guys were Christian martial artists. Everyone else was a slave-owning scumbag, a turn-a-blind eye scumbag, or just an all-around bitch. Okay, so it was the fake Christians, the pagans, and the atheists that did all the damage. And the only good guys were real Christians. So all these liberals who say Christianity isn't true, who are quote-unquote educated, who went to a eugenic college like Stanford or Yale, okay, or a tech-heavy college like MIT that sides with the eugenicists because they're from the same science, philosophy, Masonic kind of way of thinking. Okay, anyone who says Christianity isn't true, or that African martial arts aren't the best, or they haven't been proven, they don't highlight that because that's key in American history, okay, is obviously a liar and a racist to a certain degree. You know, I've met Native American professors who are racist, okay, and they pretend like they want us all to get along. Their idea is, hey, we're going to lie so everyone gets along, and during the process, we're going to make our people look a little bit better than everyone else's. That's where they're coming from, when in reality, everyone was hiding from the African martial artist, all the way up into slavery when the white man had guns. Before he had effective guns, they were still hiding. Why didn't Rome push into Candace's territory, the Ethiopians? Why? Why? Because even with armor, they couldn't beat the black martial artist who was closer to God. I mean, they had to go complete white devil to take over the world because they could not compete with us through naturally and inspired by God. And that's why there's so many atheists. And that's why atheism, you know, is a major movement from Europe. Okay, where does communism come from? Germany. Whites and Jews in Germany. Whites and whites Jews. Okay? So when all is said and done, liberals are not your friend. They are the whites who pretend to care about you so they can control the opposition and avoid African supremacy ever coming up. Thank you.